I'm JD Lasica. Thanks for having me. I'm the founder of SocialBrite, BRITE.org. We serve nonprofits as both a consultancy, but also we're a sharing and learning hub for the nonprofit community.
The site is wonderful. Everyone should go to it. SocialBrite.org, as JD just said. And thank you for a wonderful program today.
Thanks, it was fun.
Yeah, just a terrific. I think everyone was so quiet because they were just trying to take it all in, take notes, and probably starting to think about different ways they can implement your tips and best practices. So this, I realize that social media should be kind of mission-driven by the nonprofit, but if there were universals around this, what top 3 things should nonprofits be doing in social media, or what top 3 things would you say these are the musts?
I think the musts are that, the mistake we see very often is that nonprofits start with the tools. So they say, oh, we got to be on Facebook, or we've got to be on Twitter. Well, no, you got to start with a strategy. So start with I actually call it an action plan. So get somebody in your organization or hire somebody from the outside to sort of come in, take an assessment of what it is, you're trying to do. So step 1 is set goals. So what are the business goals around your organizational mission? And then number 2, what are the strategies to, don't worry about the tactics or the tools yet, but create a strategy to sort of figure out, what do we want to accomplish in the next 6 months, in the next 12 months? So that's really high-level stuff. It's like, what is my mission about? Am I trying to increase our membership base, our email newsletter base? We're trying to create more visibility around our actions in the community. So this, people sort of get freezed up when you start talking about creating a strategy plan, because it's a lot of work. It's like, who's going to do this? It got so many different components. But I think a strategy plan is really important because it's not something that just comes out of one department, like your communications department or marketing department or PR or whatever it is. You want to sort of create a strategy that's cross-departmental, so that you're all working towards the same goal. So that leads me to the third thing. Make sure your strategy is aligned across different departments. So if you're doing fundraising, or if you have an appeal going out to people's mailboxes, you're doing something online that complements that. So social media is not like an alternative to traditional marketing or to your email list or to your events managing. It's how to make them all work together. So it's like create an integrated, aligned strategy. This is like high-level stuff, right? Yeah. But I think it's really important to sort of take a big picture, because a lot of organizations don't even bother with that. And then once you have that strategy in place, start measuring against it, right? So creating a metrics program. Don't freak out because you have to start dealing with numbers, but have somebody on your team who can go into your Facebook page and, oh, by the way, there's a free metrics tool called Facebook Insights. Or go and get a report on how people are behaving on your website through Google Analytics, another free tool that every single nonprofit should have installed on their website or their blog. And only by looking at those numbers and seeing who's coming to your site, what are they doing when they're there, are they staying, are they bouncing off, what are the people, who are the people who are referring people to us, what are the organizations that, are doing us a favor by sending people our way? We ought to be paying more attention to them. Only by sort of seeing those numbers can you start acting on it. So that kind of analysis, having a plan in place, having a measurement program to measure the goals that you're setting down, and then actually taking action on those numbers to sort of, change even the position of a donate button, or to change, fundraising campaigns to a particular time of the year, or whatever it is. You want to sort of make sure that, you're not, there's a great saying, data is better than gut, right? So don't just use your gut, do things based on something that you can measure, and then you can see how the actions that you take after that sort of have an effect on the outcome.
Fantastic advice. And it's not that far from developing a fundraising plan, having goals, measuring where you're at, checking in to see. I mean, kind of same idea with even grant writing or doing fundraising
campaigns writ large.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
Have like a whole process in place for all of your social media interactions and processes, and then build on that. Once you have the foundation laid, you can build campaigns on top of that. We don't recommend going out there and creating a Twitter campaign tomorrow if you haven't done your homework, laid the foundation.
Right. Absolutely. What do you think is the next hottest tool? Can you predict that or forecast that?
Well, the cool kids in Silicon Valley all say geolocation.
I had a feeling.
So, yeah.
Okay.
So, well, number one, you don't want to jump on the next bright, shiny object just because it's bright and shiny, right? You want to make sure that whatever tool or platform we're talking about serves those goals that we've already discussed, right? So I work with San Francisco Goodwill. We're developing a mobile app. One of the key components of that is a geolocation component. So you don't even have to type in your zip code. You just take out your cell phone, call up the app, and it'll locate all the donation centers, the retail shops around you, how to donate right on the spot, neighborhood by neighborhood. So every new kind of device coming online now has that kind of built-in geolocation capability. So I think that is really cool because it's going to connect us to the stuff happening in our own neighborhoods, our own local, hometowns, and causes or organizations or nonprofits, especially if they've got some kind of thing that are happening at the local level, I think can really make a difference. One of the things I didn't include in my presentation because we already ran long was the idea of using Foursquare. So if you have an event like this, I should have asked people how many people use Foursquare, and then if there were 50 people in the room who raised their hands and they checked in on Foursquare, they would have a Foursquare swarm badge.
Right.
And that sounds silly to a lot of people, but that is like the coolest thing to have in Foursquare. So this is a way to reach an entire different constituency of tech-savvy young people who may not know anything about your cause, but they'll come if they're going to get a badge out of it, right? So, just find those different kind of hooks and connect with people through the tools and platforms that they're already using. So you don't have to re-educate them to do anything that they're already not already bent on doing.
I couldn't agree with you more. And my last question is this. What are you reading?
What am I reading? I just bought a book. I spoke a couple of weeks ago at a conference in San Francisco with Guy Kawasaki, so of course I had to buy his book. So his book is called Enchantment. It's all about how to use social media as an organization, including nonprofits. So it's really cool. I'm reading Switch. Was that Dan Heath or Chip Heath?
One of the brothers.
One of the Heath kids.
Yeah.
About again, this big picture of how to move the elephant in ways that he wanted to. And I'm thinking of writing a book on geolocation and how it's going to have a real, these location-aware technologies are going to have a big impact on our lives in the next 5 years. At the community level, how it's changing business, how it's changing culture, how it's changing relationships. I don't think we've even begun to understand yet all the really cool stuff that's coming down the pike. So I can't read too many books if I'm writing a book too, right? And I'm running all these different campaigns and programs for nonprofits. Yeah.
Do you sleep?
No.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your expertise and your time with our audiences today.
Foundation Center rocks, so keep up the great work.
Cheers. Thanks, JD.
Thanks.